considered, but when they saw the Granger, they was like, yeah, maybe like we're good. Let's just try to match them with damage. A theme, again, that was set up from the wild card. It seems like where teams are also putting a lot more importance towards your damage profile and having enough of it in the early to mid game, because most teams who rely too much on mid to late will struggle. Welcome to the rematch of the MPL Malaysia Grand Finals, SRG versus CG, the first Civil War series for this day in the Swiss stage.
All right, the Freya coming into play here is going to be great. Quantum Charge on it too. So Gary, you know, we've seen him play many times throughout these international tournaments as well, and he is one of the more aggressive junglers, I'd say. Sometimes it leads a little bit too aggressive, and I feel like the same thing could happen here on the Freya. It's potentially a case where you bite off a little more than you can chew, but it could also work out really well for GirieSports. And again, this is one of the highlights of best of ones, right? You can actually go ahead and kind of play into this. And we mentioned this before the draft, you know, that potential to bring out some of these cheesier picks or these niche picks, if you want to call it that. And they do that here in this match against SRG, where when you look at this lineup, man, it's somewhat standard. It's something we're used to seeing. Maybe the phobia is not as much, but definitely still serves that purpose of what we're used to seeing for XP laners.
Yeah, you can definitely see the difference there for SRG. Straight into the clear, and then rotation down below to get the XP grab for Cram. Meanwhile, CG, Chiku just got hit a few hits over on the turret.
Two very different lineups here in terms of what they want to do. CG, I think the thing with Freya pick is that if SRG aren't careful, if Turtle 1 is a massive loss for them, then that Freya is just going to keep continuing. I think that's one of the things we have to watch out for when there is a Freya, no matter what position it is, because we've already seen it previously in the wild card and other tournaments as well leading up to this, not this newer version.
Ooh. So that makes it equal. XP Crab this time already at 3, but the thing is the wave is frozen by Cram, so it's going to be really tough for CG to get their XP laner to level 4 later.
Okay, Turtle's up. Couple level 4s nearly here for SRG and CG. They're going to start this turtle up. Guys has an angle on already. Valens do has to be careful. Again, your organic contra, you're quite tanky. Heal up a little bit here, but he doesn't want to take too many shots. He's going to charge it.
Red tree to be won out by Skies. Great Dark Wave. And now it's 2 over as Cram goes in, but in front of Pursuit. Chiku has to run away. Yums with the flicker in forward. A Purify out now as that's been the light shown upon them. Good immobilization. Stormy slow. The peel is massive, and yet 3 just cannot get close enough. In the end, he does, but it will be traded for his life. Another Dark Wave into the Pursuit. And now he's just recalling on Valens.
Confidence, that's Cram, that's what he brings to the table.
Oh man, you know, I think even if we look at CG's lineup though, like it's still one of those lineup that needs time to go ahead and scale up. Again, Freya, we've seen a couple times already, like you guys mentioned in the wild card, but you know, in the hands of a jungler, and you kind of have to put yourself in this position where you're jumping into the objective pits, whether that's the turtle or later on the Lord, you're putting yourself in a very susceptible position. You know, that's something you have to kind of consider here, even in that Valkyrie form. You can see this though, it's a very minor lead that got built up quickly for SRG. And they'll continue to kind of capitalize on that now. So I'm wondering if GirieSports wants to go ahead and contest this time. Maybe they have a better positioning in mind to deal with this turtle take, because it's going to be started up. You're going to have that swing over from SRG. And fighting for position, it looks like GirieSports wants to go for it, but
It's going to be tough.
It's going to be tough.
Ooh, Chiku already getting away. Turtle in control of Yums.
Better positioning overall for SRG.
The finalize rated out now as Yums goes in. Is he going to go for Tsunami Slam? Now Stormy lights him up. That's an AOG coming down. As Falcon set comes over. Petrified the Furious Diamond. There's just not enough damage. Skies wins out the red tree on the turtle. And now it's Amzig who's able to get away. Baits in Cram with the front pursuit. Under turret. Yums. I'll bring over Valens. Taken low. 2 death Sonatas. You can definitely feel the nerf on Granger as Valens gets away.
And just like the first turtle, man, it was nearly the same thing. You know, it was a couple bodies dropping for GirieSports plus the objective in the hands of SRG. And if that happens again, you know, third turtle, it's going to be kind of the same thing that's happening here. And this scalability that happens here with SRG's lineup is just going to be too much for CG to deal with. Oh man, even Yathree.
Yikes.
Flicker shoulder bash.
The series. They know that they fully understand how GirieSports want to operate. I honestly do not fully understand how CG wants to operate.
I mean, it looked like it was a very straightforward approach up until the Freya pick. Then you're like, what? Right? Yeah, but
that's why I almost wonder, what if it was like a Freshman or a Baksha? You know, like what if it was something a little more bulwarky, you know, something a little more staple that can actually go ahead and get in position and face off against these objective picks.
At least Innocent got what he wanted. These are not the same picks.
It's very different. But picks, as different as they are, it looks like it's just going to be the same result. Amzig is going to be left in the bottom lane. He's grabbing it from mid, and he can try to take him.
Oh no, look at the cutoff.
Oh no, the sandwich.
perfect turtle already. They're going to play with Amzik here. And AOG onto him. Amzik was as good as dead. That's the second Sky Pierce coming down now. A taunt landing with a petrify as well. Now into the back they dive in. Yum's going to take it out of Skies. In the back line is able to find Chico and Gary is sustaining, but Innocent is gunning them down. Yet 3 taken out by Sky. And Innocent gets a triple.
A triple kill for the Beast, a wipeout too. They chose that fight in the bottom lane and they just couldn't come out with anything except a couple kills, but again, they need way more for CG to get back into this game.
To quote a great man I've seen on the internet millions of times, why are you fighting? Why?
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 I have no idea.
Why would you
What was the
AOG?
plan?
I heard the question mark on AOG because
Look at this.
yeah.
It was suicide, no? Like, Amzik was as good as dead already.
They decided to come in. They're up against Lancelot. They left their Kimmy behind. And SRG again just separated them. And
I mean, not only that, but look at Innocent, man. Like, Innocent's just chilling.
yeah, SRG, okay, this is not to undermine SRG. They're not doing anything special. They're doing their jobs perfectly.
So now I'm snap down. Amzik still able to go for the snow. Oh my goodness, the turnaround over on Yums. He's still able to survive a Stormy. Goes up from the beacon. Innocent is unstoppable. Just Dragon is going to come down on and petrify over. But Innocent will take him out. That is 60 stacks on Sky Piercer.
Well, they went for it again, man. I will say, there's like these little windows where it's looking like, man, GirieSports is at least going to take someone with them. They take Yums that time. Almost got Innocent. Now, the question that might be is, how much more time does GirieSports need to be able to actually capitalize on those kills? Because it feels like, again, this entire game, they've just been throwing themselves at SRG.
If they're clearly here,
Yeah, that's unfortunate, man. That's why, again, the Kalea is such a top priority pick when that hero is open. Innocent just taking the shots here. They get the Purify out from Amzik. This Lord's going to be worked on, though. Gary.
Freya's doing work now in 2v1. That's the execution. He needs to space out perfectly. Does with the sustain of Yums. And that's another 19-5 now.
That's really tough, man.
Yeah.
Again, at this point, CG, like I said, is kind of strapped in here for whatever they can get. Yes, Gary will be back for this defense. They still have the Holy Defenses up, but man, 10K behind at nearly the 11-minute mark of this game. This is a massive lead right now for SRG. They'll get ready to go ahead and march towards the base here, getting the Holy Defense down mid. Top's going to be next. What can CG Esports do here on this defense? Throw out a couple ultimates out, clearing out that Lord and the lane. They might be able to hold on to these base turrets just yet.
they will be able to. Holy Defense keeping CG's hopes of winning this game, somehow turning it on around alive.
Jumping in, Yay3's jumping in, but at some point, Amzik has to be able to pop off on everything. Like you said, if you take a look at the items, man, he has ground to cover.
Lord.
Look at this, 3,000 behind right now in terms of what Innocent has in his arsenal. Yeah, that's about as cooked as it can get. But you hope that you're able to hold on. And I feel like, in a lot of situations when you're looking at a 10K deficit, that's all teams can do. And you then have to go ahead and look. Again, when you're viewing these games and you see a 10K deficit, you have to start to think, all right, what do we look at? Defense potential with this composition? Are we thinking that it's actually going to be worth or capable of defending the next Lord? Because they're most likely not going to contest that at all. They're just going to have to defend. And this lineup, unfortunately, you've basically got Valens being deleted too quickly.
That's a 5,000 gold lead for Skies on Gary, dude.
It just goes to show how bad this game has gone for CG
They
Esports.
They cooked Gary.
They cooked Gary.
Oh, no.
Not the ref.
Yeah, not the ref. Not the ref. Not the ref, but the player. But I guess that's the version of CG that we got today. Well, Selangor Red Giants. Interesting that they looked at this with stage and they saw their opponents in CG and said, okay, struggled last year. This time, we'll stay close to what we know. Because again, it's a very familiar opponent, so you can't blame SRG for going down this route. I feel like any other team this draft would have looked significantly different for SRG, considering who they're up against, the history that they've shared, the fact that they pretty much dominated CG in the playoffs, both in the upper bracket finals and in the grand finals as well. SRG just sticking close to their guns, which is a warning shot now for the rest of the Swiss teams, because you don't see just yet how deep SRG can go in this M7.
13,000 gold lead. This is the biggest lead we've seen today.
I was going to ask, is it the biggest lead even in wildcards?
I think
Close, it's got to be close.
got 14K.
14K, that's right, yeah, the 14K. Well, now we'll see if they can defend against it.
Guys,
Yeah, punctures all around. Trying to go for siege. Skies now jumps in. Knows there's no AOG. Oh, actually missed time. The going road doesn't matter though. Innocent's godlike. One more stack away from getting the full Sky Piercer stack. As Gary's becoming Konami snap brought back into the brace. Skies making a turn to mid lane. As Yet3 will fall. They're gonna peel for him. Innocent fully stacked with a double kill in his hand. Now it's Crimson Beacon and the Death Sonatas constantly coming down on CG Esports. 2 more ways to play with. Skies walking up again. That's gonna be the Saban Force over. Doesn't even matter. Innocent gets a double. This is almost an unofficial Savage. Innocent has to make a route. That's a Purify out from Chico, who's able to find a kill now as Innocent walks over, no minions, goes for the shot, but Balance is able to body block now as he goes on Balance. It looks like they want to stat pad all the way. They don't want to go for the end just yet. They want to get a few more kills on Innocent. That's an AOG into the wave. That's Sonata. He's legendary. He's killed Balance twice in that fight.
I think Innocent was like, give me one more. Give me one more before we ended it there. SRG dominant in this best of one against CG. And I would say, hey, again, on board of talent predictions here, I think across the board, and I think even the audience, you know, they saw this one coming, man, and hopefully CG Esports can recalibrate in their next match after this.
That was a harsh welcome back to the global stage there for Chiku. But for SRG, it's business as usual, though they looked like they were toying with them right there at the end. SRG looked like they were locked in and they just want to start off this stage with their best foot forward. And that's Python. It's tis but a flesh wound. The arm's already off, but he's still fighting. And Pram ends up walking away with the MVP of the game. All throughout the board, SRG were fantastic. Personally, this was my vote because I like how, again, you pointed out how humanity, very applicable here for CG.
Oh, yeah. They just did the same thing all over again. They just kept on doing it, man.
That's a great character, man.
I guess they're consistent gaming with it. Consistently going in.
Consistently going in.
Oh, man. They were constantly gapped this game.
Yeah, I like it, man.